What's going on, everybody? It's your boy PIPERBOY Williams. I wanted to talk to y'all real quick, and this is what I want to talk about. This is going to be different than the normal subjects that I talk about, and the reason why I'm talking about this is because I'm starting to see like there's a lot of men, regardless of race, they're kind of getting into situations to where they end up in court with their child's mother, or whatever, and they don't know what the hell to do. They're faced with losing the ability to be able to see their kids, and they're faced with paying like astronomical amounts of money in child support. A lot of different reasons, what I'm saying, that have gotten like a lot of men like stressed out, like in the United States, like when it comes to situations of child custody. Now, I ended up winning my case that I had like in child custody. This was like years ago. I was with somebody, it didn't work out. You know what I'm saying? We moved from one area to another area. We ended up like parting ways. It just, we had a kid, it didn't work out. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. So we've been going to court like ever since. Now there's a situation which was yesterday. I had to go back to court, you know what I mean, for basically like another hearing, like in child custody, to where like every so often it's going to be brought back to court. If you have two parents that love your kids, the other parent's going to fight for the kid, you know what I'm saying? So it's not anything personal. It's just it's a tug of war. It happens. And like when I went to court, there's like guys that were in the courtroom that didn't know like anything. Like they're sitting there and they're kind of just like dumbfounded, like at the process of what happens. Like my personal experience, like when I went to court, like before I even got involved in the court, because the person I'm with, like that I was with, she's a white girl. You know what I'm saying? I'm a black guy. I'm in, a particular area like down in the South, to where there, when it's white versus black, like there's a problem. So me knowing that I'm about to go to court was a scary ass thought. You know what I mean? So what I did was, like, I went down to the courts and I just sat down and I watched different trials, you know what I mean, in different courtrooms, to try to get like an understanding of what the judge was looking for. And if I had to get an attorney, what I needed to make sure my attorney focused on, versus spending like a lot of money, for each, for my attorney just to argue with the person, and I'll just be like out of a lot of money. So I went and I saw that, the judge really, he doesn't pay attention to like arguments and character assassinations or anything like that. What he does is he pays attention to a list of factors. And the list of factors is what he or she, the judge, uses to make the determination of whether or not you're going to get custody, like in the case. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. It's very simple. It's very plain. A lot of people don't know the court process. They haven't sat down. They haven't watched it. They don't understand. They haven't talked to attorneys, and they're just dumbfounded. You know what I mean? They end up in court and they end up losing these cases for, just being, like a man caught, like a deer caught in the headlights. You don't know what to do. You kind of exhausted, from dealing with the woman, and it's a lot of different things is going on. So basically I sat there and I watched, different trials, and I, was there quite frequently. And I decided, like, at that point, to file. I filed, went to court on my own. I didn't feel like I needed an attorney because I kind of knew like what the judge wanted. You see what I'm saying? So we went into court, and immediately the character assassination started with her. You know what I mean? Like, so like what I needed to focus on was proving like whether or not like I am in a better like stable position if I can provide, health, care, a good stable place to live, am I able to, foster a relationship with the other parent, and to where I'm allowing my kid to see the other parent, things like that. I had to be able to prove that I would be able to continue to do those things, and it came out in my favor. I ended up winning that case. She appealed it. We went back and we went in front of the real judge, because when you first go to court, you're going to go in front of a magistrate. A magistrate is just basically like a referee. You know what I mean? He's going to give like a quick decision. He's going to try to have you do a mediation. After the mediation, he's going to try to, just decide like right then, like who should get custody. If it's appealed, it goes in front of the real judge. Now, the real judge focuses on factors like, This time I had to get an attorney. She had to get an attorney. She got an attorney. I got an attorney. And my attorney focused on the factors while they were, trying to, women are emotional. Like they still want to be with you. They still want to, so they're going to pull anything that they can up to try to, get some sort of emotional response from you. You know what I mean? And my attorney told me straight up, he's like, I'm not about to sit here. I'm not about to argue with her. I'm about to just focus on these factors. And I'm going to run these factors down to y'all of what you focus on, like when you go to a child custody case. Like one of the first factor that they're going to focus on is because a court trial, like for a custody case, is going to be about 4 hours. You know what I mean? Like that's the maximum time slot that you're going to have, like in a custody case. It's not going to be done in like 10 minutes. It's not going to be done in like an hour. It can be like if you have like an amicable person, and you can kind of get it done fast, but attorneys are going to try to drag this out so they can get you for like more billing hours if you don't know like what you need to be focused on like in the case. So the first one that they focus on, the love, the emotional bond, and the affection that exists between the child and the parent. So basically, which parent does the child feel more bonded with? You know what I mean? So if you're a guy, you have to be able to prove that your child is, they have an emotional bond with you. That's the first thing that you need to focus on. You don't need to be focused on, she's a bitch, she does this, she does that. That's not what you need to be focusing on, because that's the first thing that's going to happen is the judge is going to look at you like, this person may not be able to foster a relationship with the other parent. This person's sitting here arguing with the other parent, talking crazy to the other parent, inciting like arguments. How can I give the child to this parent if it's a situation where this parent may have a volatile relationship? This parent might not let the child see the other parent. So the judge is going to look at all this shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to help out a lot of men that's fucked up right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm starting to see. And it's kind of easy, like, to win these cases. You know what I'm saying? But you have to like go in there with a strong mind, knowing that there's factors, and do not let this woman knock you off of your square. So basically, that's the first thing that you have to prove, is that you have a strong emotional connection, like with the child. The courts off rip, they're going to try to give that to the woman because she's a woman. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. So if both of you guys are arguing, they're going to default it to the woman. If you're not trying to, try to prove that, they're gonna just default it to the woman. So you need to go in there with a clear mind, like, this is what the fuck I need to do, and you have to prove that. The second thing you got to prove is the ability of each parent to give the child medical care, food, clothing, education, and other care. So basically, you have to be stable. You can't be one of these parents that don't have a job trying to get custody of your kid. Your income is coming from everywhere else. You got to know, like, you have to be stable. You know what I mean? They have to see that you can afford like healthcare. If you win custody, more than likely they're going to make the other parent pay child support, and they're going to make the other parent pay for the medical care, for the child. So, it is what it is on that. So you just have to be able to prove that you have stability. That's the main factor. Number two, the need of the child for stability, except in cases where child abuse was or is in any reason for relocating. So basically, it's just going back to like number two. It's basically like proving that you are stable. Don't argue with her. Her attorney's going to try to get you to argue. Her attorney's going to try to bring up whatever they can, true or false, to get you pissed off, to argue, so that the judge can see that you're a hothead. Because the last thing that a judge wants is for a child to go with a hothead. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. This is for all the people that's in court, don't know what the fuck's going on. I'm telling you what's going on. It is what it is. If you want custody of your kid, this is what you're going to focus on. You know what I mean? And this is kind of like across the board. This is kind of like for most states in the United States. It's the factors that they focus on. They don't focus on the bullshit. You know what I mean? And then the another one is the stability of the family union. You know what I mean? So let's just say you break up, with your girl breaks up with you, and you have other people like living in the house. You might be in a situation where you stand with your parents. You might be in a situation where you got into another relationship. You may have gotten married. You may have moved on. But you have to prove that the position that you're in is stable. You know what I'm saying? You have to prove like a stable unit. That's basically all you have to prove. Like, they don't necessarily care You know what I mean? They would want you to have like your own place. They want you to have like this and that, but you have to just prove that you're stable. You're not just moving around and, you know what I'm saying? You don't have a consistent place to stay. You know what I mean? And then you got like people moving in and out, you know what I'm saying? Just like a wild, like living situation. You have to prove that you're stable, you know what I mean? And you have like a stable family unit. So if you have, you know, your mother, your father, you know what I mean? You might have your grandmother, they're helping you and they're kind of stable. You have to prove like, you know, and if something, you know, went south, I've always got this person to depend on. You know what I mean? Like, so you have to be able to prove stability of the family unit. So that's another thing. Another thing that you got to focus on is the physical and mental health of each parent. This is what the judge looks at. So list of factors. Y'all talking, y'all arguing, they just looking at the factors and they waiting for one of y'all to say something that will allow them to check off that factor in your favor. You know, so it is the physical and mental health of each parent. Now, if you're in and out of jail, you know, you showing signs of like stress, you know, you seeing situations, or he's seeing situations, or she's seeing situations, the judge that, you know, you volatile, you know what I mean? You're bipolar, you're doing one thing and you saying one thing, doing the other. It's just a lot of bipolarism. You know what I mean? They're gonna look at like this person may not be of most sound mind, you know, to be able to support or have a child like full term. You know what I'm saying? Or, you know what I mean, for have full custody. This person's not stable. You know, this person's got problems. They got obvious mental health problems. So you got to prove that you are mentally competent to be able to handle the responsibility of another life. You know what I mean? Fuck all the bullshit, arguing back and forth, because they ain't going to do nothing but get your ass in a fucked up position. You know what I'm saying? To where they're just going to, if that her lawyer gets you pissed off to the point that you're arguing, you're going to be like, the judge is going to look at you like, if this person, this random stranger can piss you off and get you like this, what about the person that you had a relationship with or you had a child with that could really piss you off? How are you going to act towards that person? So they're looking at the physical, like, or the mental fitness of the other parent. This is for all you people that sitting in court and don't know what the fuck's going on. You know what I mean? I'm telling y'all right what it is. There's other factors that they look at: the child's past education record and home and community involvement. So basically what that means, dumb nigga, you know what I'm saying, is that you have to, if you are fortunate enough, because there are some situations to where, you know, the child's mother may not be fit at that time, and they may allow the child to stay with the father and the child start school with the father. You know what I mean? And you better have records. You know what I mean? That you know, when the child was in school with you or whatever, that, you know, the child was doing well, or whatever community involvement that the child is in. They're looking for more so like the extracurriculars, you know what I mean? Activities. Like, what are you doing for your child to help your child become a better person, a well-versed person? Now, if it's a situation where your kid's a baby, you know what I mean, or something like that, then you're not gonna have that school record or anything to fall on, but you have to show that you're like involved in like things that's beneficial for the child's like mental health. That's basically what it is. You know what I'm saying? So that's a factor that they look at. You know what I mean? Then another one is this is when the child is 12. Like, you know what I mean? When a child's 12 years old, it's a factor that weighs a child can determine which parent they want to live with. Just because a child says they want to live with this parent, you know what I mean, doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to give the other parent custody. It's just one factor that weighs in the benefit of the other parent. But you don't worry about that shit until the child turns 12. So if you win this case, best believe your ass is going back to court so that, you know, she could try to get that other factor. And every time, you know, the child goes to her house or whatever, you know, it's always a good time. You know, it's on school breaks. It's a situation where, you know what I mean, like the child's going to be happy, or the center, you know, or the child's going to be the center of attention, like for those short periods of time that they're at the other parent's house. You know what I mean? And this is a time where the other parent is kind of trying to put stuff in the kid's head. Like, yo, when you turn 12, you can live here. You can, you know, we could do this all the time. You know what I mean? Like, you know, that's what's going to happen. So you got to be prepared for when that child turns 12, your ass, you know, might have to go back to court. You know what I mean? So, but that's just one factor in determining shit. And so people want to know I'm trying to go to law school. You know what I'm saying? So I'm breaking this shit down, and I've already won my custody case. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to tell people, what the hell's going on, basically. And then there's another one, evidence of emotional or physical abuse by the other parent. So basically, if you talking shit to the other parent, if the other parent's talking shit to you, they have to be able to prove that, and that's like one factor that weighs like in the other parent's favor. You know what I'm saying? So basically, if somebody comes with records saying that, okay, this person is doing this person is doing that, that can be a factor, in showing that the other parent is kind of, a hard head, you know what I mean? And that could be weighed like towards that one, the parent, you know what I'm saying? So they're going to look at whether or not, you're abusing the other parent. Like, are you abusing, like, maybe you might be in a situation where you have custody right now temporarily. Are you abusing that custody? You know what I mean? Are you allowing this, your child to see the other parent? Or is it just like a more of a mental thing or emotional thing to where you're just abusing the other parent? Like, these are factors that's going to weigh, like, whether or not you get custody. You know what I mean? It is what it is. And then it said the next one, the character of anyone else who lives in the parent's home and how the person interacts with the child. So basically, you know what I'm saying? You got a girlfriend or something. They treating the kid good. They, you know what I mean? Then all that's going to weigh. If they're treating them, him or her bad, all that's going to weigh, So it's a lot of things that weigh in the case. Or you might be living with a parent or a relative or something that's going on. They're going to look at that person. They're going to look at their criminal record. They're going to look at, a lot of things to see whether or not this person that's in the household with the other person is, you know what I mean, like, a good person for the child to be around, like, on a continual basis, you know what I mean, for like custody. So they're going to look at all that. And then the last one is the general ability to be a good parent, including promoting relationships between the child and the other parent. So it's kind of reminiscent, to the earlier factors that we talked about. And basically what this is what you want to do is, even if the other parent is an asshole, you know what I mean, you want to try to include the other parent in things like, well, we about to throw a birthday party, for, our son or our daughter. Do you want to come to the birthday party? Oh, we're about to have, Christmas or whatever. Do you want to come like around that time to be able to, go see the lights, with our kid or something? You know what I mean? Just any little thing you want to show that you're including the other parent. Or, if there's like a big decision that's coming up, it could be anything, you want to include the other parent in it. It just is what it is. Or maybe you're married and you got, a stepchild or something like that. You want to be able to show that you can, have the stepchild and the child and the parent can kind of, the other parent can kind of have like, a decent type of, a relationship, you know what I'm saying? So you're just showing that you're friendly and you can, you know what I mean? Like, basically like get along, with each other. That's basically all it is, basically. Like, it's real easy. So this is for people that, I'm seeing in court that don't like know what the fuck to do. They're kind of just like sitting there. They're asking different attorneys different questions, and all an attorney is going to do is say, give me $2,500, give me $3,500, give me $4,500. I handle it. And it's just a list of factors, you know what I'm saying, that they're going to look at, that they're going to make their arguments on. Like, a good attorney is just going to focus on that. They're not going to be all with the theatrics, the spectacle, like trying to, run down the other parent. They're not going to do that. They're just going to focus on this. You're going to be sitting in court like, what the fuck? Like, they talking about this? You know what I'm saying? It ain't true and blah, blah, blah. Fuck all that. Just, if you got a good attorney, just sit there and keep your motherfucking mouth shut, and let the attorney do their job. While they're focused on bullshit, you need to be focused on these factors, getting the evidence together, getting everything together, and that's how you're going to end up winning your case. You know what I'm saying? That's how I won my case. It is what it is. It wasn't about, the other the child's parent was just a fucking horrible person. You know what I'm saying? It's just a court process. And if you know the court process, you'll start seeing that the courts actually will work for you if you know the damn process. The only problem is, like, when you get young people, or just like, a person that just broke up with somebody or in a volatile relationship, you're going to go in front of that judge or that referee, which is the magistrate, and you're going to be arguing with each other. And he or she's going to have no choice but to default to certain things. You know what I mean? And then another factor that wasn't talked about is basically who had the child the longest. You know what I mean? More than likely, the mother is going to win that factor because it's going to be a new situation. The child was just born. So the mother is going to have the child longer normally. You know what I'm saying? But in my situation now that I'm going back to court, I have the child, you know what I mean, like longer, you know what I mean? Because this is like years and years later, that going back to court. So it's a situation where just knowing what the fuck you're about to get involved with, you know what I mean? This is just, I know we talk about like battle rap and like other things like on the channel, but I'm seeing a lot of people like pretty fucked up out here. You know what I'm saying? And then if you win the custody case, there's things that come with that. You know what I mean? Like you're going to be awarded child support that's going to be used for the child. You know what I mean? You're going to be awarded like the other child, the child's other parent may have to pay the medical expenses or healthcare and things like that to help, facilitate like the child having like a better, you know what I mean, like life, being healthy and stuff like that. So, it's some of it is, it's something to wrap your mind around. It's a court process, it's different, and we thinking like when we go in there, I thought they didn't want to hear nothing. You know what I'm saying? But once like I figured out everything, like it wasn't like that bad. And this is just for the people that are having the problems with seeing their kids and the other parents not letting them see the kids, they're playing games. Like get your evidence together, get everything ready, you know what I'm saying, go into court, and you'll be surprised like what the judge would do. Comment, rate, subscribe, let me know what y'all think about that. I'm just a blogger. Listen, but men in the United States, a lot of it, we kind of look at it like we've been getting fucked over like a lot. And I think it kind of comes down to, the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. I feel like, ignorance to the law, like if you're ignorant with the law, like regardless of what laws there are, like it's kind of your fault. You know what I mean? It's your responsibility of what you're gonna do. You have to learn these things before you step into that room, because it is a process. It's a court process. And if you're doing what you need to do, you stand on your P's and Q's, you're not letting this person knock you off your square, you're gonna end up winning. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you know what I mean? Because more than likely, and I'm saying if you do the process, not just if you go in there and don't know shit. If you do the process, because men more than likely are going to be more, geared towards like focusing on what they need to focus on, the objective, whereas a woman more than likely normally is going to be more emotional. You know what I'm saying? So she's going to be focused on emotional like aspects of the case. You know what I mean? How you make her feel, how you talk to her and things like that. Whereas you're just going to go in there and focus on the factors. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, it's all about your child, and the court's looking at who's going to be the best parent to provide this child with the best, all around like experience in life. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. So if you're watching this video and y'all having problems, go ahead and hit that, like button, like, and subscribe to the channel and comment down below, and I'll end up like helping y'all out, like if I can. You know what I'm saying? I'm just seeing like this is like an epidemic. You know what I mean? A lot of people aren't using condoms. They're having kids, and then they end up in situations like this. And sometimes you can have a good relationship and it could just go bad. You know what I mean? And then a child is like involved. And it may come down to both parents are actually good people. They just want this thing to be ironed out and ironclad and a judgment like put on it, just so it could just be, each parent already knows what it is and there's no argument, so they can continue to be amicable. So a court doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing. It's just how you're going to approach it. You know what I mean? It's my personal opinion. Come rate, subscribe, and I won this, it's a white girl. You know what I'm saying, that I had to go, to court against. You know what I'm saying? I'm black. I'm in the South. You know what I'm saying? I had everything against me, but at the end of the day, what they cared about was the factors. They didn't care about, how none of the other bullshit. You know what I'm saying? It's the factors. That's all you got to worry about. And for your state, just go ahead and Google them, look at the factors. But these are kind of the main ones that are across the board. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. Comment, rate, subscribe. Let me know what y'all think about that. Peace.